Hey, since Halloween is just around the corner, I thought you guys might like to hear a spooky ghost story. How about it? Let's hear one. Hey everybody, it's a Coyote, and we're sitting here in front of our fireplace watching our fake fireplace. Because that's the way you do things today. If you want a fire, you don't light it, you just turn it on. Anyway, I thought in keeping with Halloween, we would tell some true ghost stories. This is something a little bit different for us, but I thought they'd be fun because I like to hear other people do this. And these stories are all true to the best of my knowledge. And they come from my family and maybe Mrs. Coyote's family if she gets the nerve to tell one. We're going to tell at least 2 or 3 of them. We're going to start out with one I like to call My Papaw and the Devil. And yes, that's Pearl, our cat. That's not a ghost. That's our albino, blue-eyed rescue cat. Anyway, Pearl, don't try to eat the fake flowers. They're fake, Pearl. Please, they're fake, Pearl. Don't eat the fake flowers. Oh, Lord.
Oh, my. You're going to get the lights.
Anyway, it'd be like a Christmas story. Now electrocute yourself, baby.
She never's around.
Yeah, she picks out the one thing over there that's actually plugged in. The rest of it's on batteries. Anyway, I think we'll leave this in the video because that's us. But anyhow, the story is let me go over here and get my cat, okay? Okay, we finally talked the cat into joining us on the couch. And there's another one in here somewhere, but he's so fat and lazy, I doubt he'll move for the next few minutes. Anyway, yeah, and I'm not a cat person. I used to hate cats.
No.
And love dogs. Till 2 years ago, a little gray kitten followed me home on a walk when I walked by Hardee's in downtown Corbin. And he followed us down the street. Meow, 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 meow. I remember the day exactly because it was the day Tom Petty died. So we took him home, and I told my son, who was walking with me at the time, we'll let him live on the porch if he wants to. So, we go and we sit on the porch, we open the door, and he goes in the house, and he's been in the house, actually a couple of different houses we've lived in, ever since then. And of course, we named him, since he come to us on the day Tom Petty passed away, we named him Lucky because we figured he was lucky. He found us, and, we kind of feel lucky he found us. He's lucky, we're lucky. But one of our favorite shows was King of the Hill. And one of our favorite characters on King of the Hill was Lucky. And Lucky was voiced by Tom Petty. So he got the name Lucky. And Pearl got the name Pearl because she's a white little pearl, but she answers to baby, not Pearl. So life's just strange. But anyway, I actually started this 3 minutes ago to tell you a ghost story about my Papaw and the Devil. You ready to tell it, Mrs. Coyote? Anyway, my grandmother did not believe in boogers. My grandmother was a dead serious woman who had faced a lot of things in her life. She faced a tornado one night with 5 little girls and survived that. She faced the Great Depression with 5 little girls and survived that. So she was not easily rattled, and she was not given to telling wild stories. But I've heard this story from her many times when she's alive. I heard it from my mother. When my grandmother was young and had not been married long to my grandfather, he was not a drinking man, so it didn't take much drinking to knock him out. Him and his brother had went out drinking and came home drunk. My grandmother, knowing that her brother-in-law couldn't get home from her house without passing out somewhere and maybe freezing to death or whatever, it was summertime, so I doubt freezing to death. But anyway, she didn't want him to go home, so she put them both to bed in her bed to sleep it off. laid them on to cover their clothes on, opened the window so some air and night air would come in and so they wouldn't get sick and throw up. She went in the kitchen, and this was probably the middle 1920s, late 1920s. She went in the kitchen and buy a lamp light because they didn't have electricity then, also, although a lot of people did in Appalachia, they didn't. And done some kitchen work. After she's in the kitchen, about 45 minutes from there, she heard her husband, yes, and there's Lucky, there's the fat cat. But anyway, she heard her husband and her brother-in-law, who was passed out, cold on the bed, for the night, she thought, start yelling and screaming for help. So she grabs a lamp and runs into the room. As she opens the door to the bedroom, she hears a large chain that she described about the size probably of a logging chain. That was the chains in those days that people used on horses to pull logs out of the woods with. Look over here and smile for us, Lucky.
Lucky.
Lucky does not listen at all.
Lucky.
Pearl does kind of listen, but Lucky just don't hear. But anyway, he's okay.
He don't respond.
Hey, if he creates some mayhem, it'll just be
mind's
good for the
on
video.
something
But anyway,
totally
my grandmother claims that she heard, well, she didn't claim, but my grandmother said it, I believe it. She heard this large chain drag across the windowsill and out the window, and something drag it through the bushes. There, I mean, she said she heard it drag against the wood of the windowsill. She enters the room, that chain leaves the room through the window. The lamp lights the room up. My Papaw and his brother are now dead sober. Just barely an hour after she put them to bed, dead drunk. Completely freaked out. She asks them, what's wrong, what's happened? And they both tell her the same story at the same time. So, you know, how could that be a dream? And especially, how could it be a dream with her hearing the chain? They claim the devil himself came through the window, sat down on their chest, and started burying them in chain. Just started piling chain on them and laughing at them. And said when they started screaming and she started coming into the room, the devil jumped out the window and dragged his chain behind him. Now this sounds incredibly outrageous, but my grandmother did hear the chain. But now here's the question that you'll have to ask and answer yourself in your mind. Was it the devil jumping out the window and dragging his chain after terrorizing two drunk men? Or perhaps was it a large dog that had got loose and come through the upper window and was sitting on the two drunk men, and they woke up and in their drunken state of mind seen the devil and decided the chain around the dog's neck was the devil's chain?
Did it straighten them up?
Well, no, I don't think my Papaw ever got drunk again after that. Like I said, he wasn't a drinking man.
Better yet, did it sober them up?
Oh, they was dead sober after that. My grandmother said they was dead sober.
I'd say somebody's dog
but,
off the chain.
But her brother-in-law, well, it took the chain with it and come off. Her brother-in-law still stayed all night anyway because he wouldn't want to walk home in the dark. And they both swore to it till their deaths. And I know my grandmother. I know a chain went out that window. Whether it was a devil or a dog, in my mind, in my skeptical mind, I think it had to be a dog dragging a chain. But I know a chain went out that window when she opened that bedroom door. Or she wouldn't have said it did. There, so that's the story, the Halloween ghost story of my grandfather and the devil. Now next we'll do one more for sure, maybe 2 or 3 or 4, depending on what we can come up with. Next is another true one that I remember and I experienced. It's a little lighter than that one. We'll call it the ghost cows. That's right, the ghost cows.
Oh,
You'll have to watch the next one to hear the story of the ghost cows.
Oh.
Till then, this is the Coyote, Mrs. Coyote, our cats, our fireplace, our fake fire above the fireplace, telling you thanks for watching, like, subscribe, share. Yeah, it's supposed to be in it, but I couldn't get the TV to fit in it. Mrs. Coyote says that's supposed to be down in the fire. I tried, but I just couldn't get that TV to fit in that fireplace, so I gave up. But anyway, like, subscribe, tell people about it, tell mental health care workers about it. We probably need help. But We appreciate you.
Oh.
God bless you. We'll tell you another story next time. That's all.